evening, and welcome to Inside the Rookery, Season 8, Episode 13, where I am in the wrong place on the screen, as previously discussed. I am in the middle tonight, as there is 5 of us. So welcome to Abbie, Steph, Lucinda and Josie from the Women in Game Society at Abertay University. I have invited them on to talk about their new society that they formed this year and the future in gaming in general. So welcome to the stream, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem at all. So there's already a few people in the chat. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Golden Chaos. And we have, as always, loads of questions pre-submitted on our Discord server by patrons. So thank you for doing all that in advance, as always. And if you have any questions or comments, pop them in the chat and I will bring them up on the screen like this. Hello. So yeah, do ask on. The more controversial, the better, I feel. So
we might just need to like smile and be like, what a great question. We can't discuss that much, but it's a great question nonetheless.
So before we get started on the questions, would you like to give yourselves a little introduction each and a little introduction to the society? Who wants to go first?
I will. Okay. Hello, I'm Abbie. I'm one of the presidents for our society. I am a third year that studies computer arts. I do 3D modeling. I do like environments and props and things. Me and Steph founded the society. We found out that Abertay was partnered with Women in Games, which is a charity worldwide that promotes women in the gaming industry and education. And we were like, we want to help promote that. So we made our society.
There's also not a space like that already at Abertay. So
yeah,
fill in the gaps, something that's needed. Now it's there. And then I'm Steph. I'm also third year computer arts, and I'm the other co-president of the society.
Lucinda, Josie?
Yeah.
Josie. Oh, okay. Well, hello. I am Josie Law. You may have heard about me doing silly little intern things for the Rookery, but I'm the treasurer for the society. I like numbers and things. I don't have much else to say about that. I like numbers. I like women. I like games. Society.
And you're in third year as well, right?
I am in third year, and I'm on games design, not computer arts.
Lucinda.
Hi, I'm Lucinda. I am also third year GDP, and I am the secretary for the Women in Game Society. I don't feel like I don't have anything interesting to say, so
yeah, like that was my problem. I was like, what else do I say? Like,
I don't like numbers.
Yeah,
you're so real for that though.
Yeah, so we've got a good mix of questions about the society and questions about games in general. So I think you've covered this a little bit, Abbie, but if there's anything you wanted to add, or any of the others wanted to add on why you decided to start the society this year.
I think we just kind of wanted to have like a space for anyone in the uni who wanted to help us create a safe space for women and help promote women in the industry and in our community. In the games courses, there's still a very big male majority. So we want to just kind of help promote equality when we are very much still the minority in the uni.
It's something like 90-10, isn't it? From
it was. I think when
it was 80-20 when we started.
Yeah, it was 80-20 when we started first year, and as we didn't really get anyone who wasn't a man joining through direct entrance in second and third year, so it's really shifted the balance closer to 90-10 again.
So Martine has asked, what does your society add that's essential? And I'm a member of the Discord server and a member of the society because it's open to women from industry, men, non-binary people. It's open to everyone really who just wants to support women and advocate for women in the gaming industry. And what struck me was there's quite a lot of students who are at Dundee, at Abertay, who are gamers, not actually studying gaming, that have joined. So what kind of events do you run and what do you do through the year?
We've done a lot of social events. We've done a few game nights. We've played a lot of Roblox.
Yeah, dressed to
Yeah.
impress.
The people love dressed to impress, but
Yeah,
like because it would be like a social society, we do game nights. We've had a couple of we had a narrative designer called Cara Ellison come in and do a talk about her experience in the games industry as a narrative designer, which was great. She had really good advice and she was just lovely. So we
Just
wanted
before
like
you go on, I'm just going to say hi to all the raiders from World Anvil, Light Up the Forge. Today we're talking about women in gaming with the Women in Gaming Society from Abertay University in Dundee. So welcome to the stream.
Hi everyone.
Yeah, Cara's been on Inside the Rookery a couple of times, so yeah, go and check
Oh.
out her videos
Okay.
on here. Yeah,
I
to
might
talk
have
about.
forgot to mention that actually.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely encourage people to watch the previous Inside the Rookery episodes if you have not already, especially if there's people kicking about from the society. Hello, definitely watch those. They're a very good source of just information in general, good practitioner sources if you're like me and doing so many essays, but good practitioner sources. So
I was gonna say as well, we had an awesome Halloween event at a board game cafe.
Yeah,
And they
that was really
decorated
good.
the place amazingly. And it was like an afternoon
did
tea
they?
as well. So there was like these spooky decorations and they had unlimited tea and then they came out with like the big like cake stands. It was
was
really
so
good.
good.
like sandwich platters and everything and like
It was
scones. It
lovely.
was so fun.
Yeah, if you're in Dundee, go to Cake or Dice. They're so good.
I still haven't been to Cake or Dice. I've been to Dundee a few times, and I'm coming to do a talk for the society in a few weeks' time. And I'll be coming to Dundee, and I'm kind of expecting somebody to take me to Cake or Dice. Josie.
A volunteer's tribute.
Was there 101 Colonel wants to know if there was cucumber sandwiches?
There was.
Was.
Yeah, there was.
There
Actually.
was. Yeah.
That's so
It
British.
was like vaguely Alice in Wonderland themed because one of the staff had an Alice in Wonderland themed wedding a couple of years ago and they kept all of the decorations. So that's where most of the decorations came from, and then a bunch of the staff handmade like little potion bottles and everything. It was so cute.
Oh, that is really cute. Secondhand Samurai, student NUS gaming, the time of life for 48-hour gaming session.
Real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the PS5 arrives, that is gonna. I think.
I'm not
like-
gonna see you.
Yeah, you're not.
Like-
Like I will be in. Well, the thing is, you'll be playing your games. I'll be playing mine, and we'll meet for meals and be like, "Wow, how's it going in the other room? Like, tell me about your game."
That's what
So
me and
that-
Robbie do, and we're sat beside each other. We don't speak to each other. We just get up and go get food.
Yeah, I think that like watching games now, like obviously with Twitch and stuff, is much more like understood and normal. But people used to say to me like, "Have you played Mass Effect? We're gonna have a question about Mass Effect," and I was like, "Well, I've watched it. Like,
Yeah.
I watched someone else play it.
I
Like,
watched
do
my
play
dad
games,
play
but
it for
yeah, I
a
just
very
haven't
long time.
happened to have watched that one. So Martine has asked, "What are your favorite games and why?"
I
Well,
think I'll start. Yeah, I'll start.
yeah,
with
you
this
can-
one
you can
because
start.
I could get the ball rolling because I have my favorite game of all time is probably Okami, little PS2 game. You play as the Japanese sun goddess. You run around, and I think it's my favorite because of the art style. It's very unique, draws on traditional Japanese art to bring it to a 3D environment, which I really like, and the music. The music is phenomenal, and also because it was one of the first video games I ever played when I had the PS2 in my room when I was about 5 years old. So I have completed that. I have 100% platinum that game. Like I have
How many
rung
times,
that thing.
Josie?
Like I've only platinumed it once, but that's because it took me a while to get there. Because I was Okami mentioned. It's great, a lovely game.
Secondhand Samurai says, "Okami is therapy."
Oh, absolutely. It's my go-to whenever I go home. It is my go-to. I'm like, oh, I need a break from uni. Oh, I'll just put on Okami, run around, continue my quest to feed every animal in the game. And so Okami is my number one, and then shortly followed by Tears of the Kingdom, which I think starts a theme going on as you go through my games. So yeah.
Well,
Abbie?
if I'm being honest, my favorite game genuinely is Genshin Impact. I have put thousands and literally thousands of hours into that game. I don't want to know how many, but it gets a really bad rep because it's a gacha game and it's like anime and whatever. But the music and the lore in that game is so good. I love the music.
The music completely redeems it for me. Like
Yeah.
I will accept like clicking through a million dialogue boxes.
That's what I do.
Yeah, I will click through dialogue boxes. I will read the lore afterwards, like in a probably condensed version. But the music just out of the park. I love it.
Janet from World Anvil, who's also been a guest from a show, says she appreciates the sheer number of cat ear headphones in here.
I
There's
do
actually
have
more.
Get yours on,
There's-
Abbie.
show us,
I
Abbie,
have
show
I
us.
have a
Let's
pair.
go.
They hurt my head though, so I've got my colored ones on. Yeah, I love Genshin Impact. I get bullied for it, but I like it. I'm also
You may be
like
cringe, but you are free.
exactly, I'm free. I'm very much a completionist as well, so I have 100% the entire map. I've done all the quests. I've got almost every character. All of my characters are built. I do the Abyss. I do the Theater. I do everything. I'm very dedicated.
It's
But
quite
also-
impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, I've committed so much time to it. I'm like, I can't really stop playing now. So
It's
it'll
how
be
they
like
get you.
I mean, like that, and then if I'm not being serious, my favorite game is Kirby's Epic Yarn on the Wii because that was such a big thing for me growing up. I have 100% that game so many times. I have the DS port on my 2DS. It's just such a cute, wholesome game, and also again the music is amazing in that game. The Kirby music's always been great. There's a theme there, but
When you
Lucinda
said
or
the Wii
Steph?
there, when you said the Wii there, Abby, it reminded me. I tried to plug my Wii into the TV, and I realized that like the TVs are too modern now for the Wii.
yeah, they don't
I
have all
felt
the
so
bits.
humbled.
Yeah,
They don't
Yeah.
have like the bits to put them in. Like, how am I supposed to play Super
Yeah,
Mario Galaxy now? That's my
Yeah.
plans.
it's like the red, yellow, and white cables. They're just not there anymore.
I know.
That's
They
so
get all weird with
sad.
that, yeah.
I'm trying to think of
My
my favorite
favorite
game.
New Year's celebration ever was one where me and Andy Law, also of the Rookery, stayed in, and everyone else that we lived with or our friends all went out, and we stayed in and played Super Mario Kart for the whole night. It was the best.
That's
That's a
game.
good. That sounds like a good night.
It
Yeah.
was
The
amazing.
thing is, Abby and I would do that, but neither of us would find it fun because she is just like leagues better at me in Mario Kart. So
I need some real
yeah,
competition.
she brings the CPU level up, so I get like 12th every single time, and she's getting first every time, and I'm just sitting there like
You
I
gotta
need
get
to
on your
get
training arc.
practicing. I know, I need to
Yeah.
get training.
My favorite game of all time is Wipeout, the racing game. Because
Real.
it was the first game I played on the very first PlayStation that I got for my birthday. And I played it and played it and played it and played it. And so many people, men, have come into my house and been like, oh, a racing game, I can play this. And I've just like completely destroyed them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think my favorite game. I'm a massive sucker for Riot games in general, so it's definitely League or Valorant. I've been getting into Valorant again recently, and I'm trying my hardest not to sink all my money into the arcane stuff coming out. Same with League. But I love the art style of just Riot in general, how they like do their characters and stuff.
Mm.
I'm just a
That I
massive
think
sucker for
yeah,
them.
that was that got me. Yeah, that got me like that was the main reason that I even started playing League at all was because the characters are also because Abby she basically Pavloved me into it by being like, "Oh,
I
look
did
at all
not.
look at all these cool cutscenes and look at all this cool music and look, Arcane's coming out soon and look,
Like,
what
you
if
can play
just-
as these
oh,
characters in the
you can
game.
play as these characters in the game. Oh, but I don't actually want you to download, and I downloaded it and played it. So it worked. She wins.
worked.
Congratulations.
I like the domino effect. That's my fault because I made
Yeah.
Abby play League. So
Yep. And also, it was another friend group that Abby and I are both in. They were like, "You need to join. You need to play League." And she was like, "Right, when I pass second year, I'll maybe play it." And my rule was, if Abby starts playing it, then I'll maybe play it, and it has just spiraled from there.
my bad, guys.
One of the Rooks, Mark Gibbons, as Lawhammer says, strongly influenced Riot when he was concepting for them, and we've had a few Riot alumni on the show over the 8 seasons that Inside the Rookery's been going.
Cause that's crazy. Cause I swear, because I know his name, so we spoke about him in class. And then when Josie was like, "Oh yeah, like Mark Gibbons," I'm like, "I know that name." It's like, why do I know that?
He'll probably be slightly mortified that he was spoken about in a classroom, but we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see
no,
when he
it was-
watches this. How he feels.
Sorry for freaking you out.
And Lucinda, how about you?
Oh man, I feel like I'm really bad at picking a favorite game, so I tend to go with the ones that I've played the most. So The Last of Us, I've probably played through maybe like 15 times. Shadow of Tomb Raider, but at the moment I'm really into like survival games, so like The Forest, 7 Days to Die, Valheim. So that's kind of like my ballpark these days. Yeah.
I tried to play The Last of Us, but it was too. I didn't like it. It was a combination of both too scary and like because of the way the zombies are like mushroom creatures, it was just too disgusting for me.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
one
a
of
really
yeah.
low disgust threshold, so I just had to content with that. Was a game that I was saying before we came on the stream that I've like watched someone play it. So like my favorite bit is when the giraffes come out, but I haven't actually played it all the way through myself.
You have a low disgust threshold, definitely don't play The Forest.
Oh really?
It's
Forest
pretty
is-
graphic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a really low disgust threshold.
It's really funny considering you have a very low disgust threshold and I have a very high disgust threshold,
Oh,
but
even just
only
thinking about
for
people
media.
with-
Like
even
only for
just-
media.
yeah.
Like the second it like anything bleeds into real life, no, can't do it. But for media, does not bother me at all.
This video came up on like Facebook or TikTok or something the other day, and it was of like a guy in Scotland who like cleans horses' hooves or no, cows' hooves or something. And I was
I
exactly.
hate that.
And I was just like, why did this appear in my feed, and why can I not get this out of my head? And now I've thought about it again. I'll be thinking about it for all of the next week, and I'll have to think about other things. Ugh, disgusting. Like, and people are like, oh, this is an amazing like thing this guy's doing, and it's like really relaxing to watch him like fix cow feet.
no.
And I'm like, no,
No.
it's not relaxing. That's
Yeah.
not relaxing.
I like watching cleaning videos, but like not see the people on YouTube that do like the carpet cleaning videos.
Yes.
I love those.
Yes.
Literally, those, and then like the people who do like the really like rusty item restoration videos. Like there's been the last
Rusty
couple of nights.
items is okay. Like
Yeah,
if it's
I-
non-organic, it's probably okay. But like and cleaning, like fixing cows' hooves, no.
No.
I'm out. Oh yeah. Right. Let me bring up the next
I'm
question.
too scared of horror games.
So we've talked about what games you like to play, but what games, Martinez, would you like to contribute to in future, and in what capacity?
I think for me, if I could pick any game to work on, I'd love to go and work on Slime Rancher at Monterey Park. I love their art style. That is like my main source of inspiration for all my work. I hate realism. I'm just gonna be like completely honest. All of my work is stylized.
You
I
find
would
your
love-
niche and you stick to it. Like,
Yeah. I would love to go and work on their games because their style is just like, it's great. It's my favorite. Specifically Slime Rancher 2 because the graphics upgrade is like significant and it's so pretty. Highly recommend it. It's a very good game.
I think it would have to be for me something like anything with an expansive narrative, whether I work on it for audio or narrative or whatever. I've not quite decided what I prefer yet, but working on it. But whether for narrative or audio, something expansive where I can have a way to creatively express a story, whether for audio, create like representing the characters through individual themes and individual instrumentation and blah 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 blah, or for narrative, getting to actually get into the meat of the story and write it and do those branching ideas. I think I'd find that really fun. Don't have a specific game in mind that I could bring for that, but that sort of large expansive world always gets me happy.
Oh, Roderick. Roderick is a good friend of the Rookery, is just popping in to say hi, has given us a super chat, and looking forward to catching up with this later. Thanks,
Hello.
Roderick. Roderick came to visit the Lawhammer Studios in the summer and brought me loads of plums because my plum tree didn't have many plums this year, and plum jam. So thanks, Roderick.
Yay!
He's a plum jam star. Well, it was his parents' plum jam. He didn't actually make it himself, but it still counts.
Trying to think for myself, not to be the number one Riot fanboy again, but to be the number one Riot fanboy again. I do visual development at uni, so doing that for Valorant would be really cool because you have the restriction of like the clothing still having to be like, suitable for like the shooter environment, but then also making these dynamic characters. I just think that would be really cool to work on. Like
Their
a character
character
for
designs
Valorant.
are so fun. Someone did their honors project at Aberdeen
I
on a Valorant
saw that.
character.
I remember
Yeah.
when we went around there and I
It
saw
was
it. And
like
I'm like,
1 or 2
that was
years
me.
ago. It was so cool. Just like someone's OC like fully rendered in the art style and everything.
It's
That-
just,
yeah.
it's just like getting the balance of it.
Yeah.
In the computer arts course, do you do like a final year show?
Yeah, there's like a grad show every year. And people show off their honors projects. I think it's just honors projects. There might be like
There was
other
Dare
things.
games there before.
I think so,
I
yeah.
think some
I
Dare
think
games go.
grad show is like, I think it tends to be just like games courses in general, I believe, because
It's
Oh,
like,
mostly
you see-
fourth years, I think.
it's mostly fourth years and mostly it's not specifically computer arts is what I mean. Is that you get
Yeah, it's across all
stuff
the
from
courses.
yeah, it's across all the courses. So you'll get like their honors projects and you'll get people submitting their games that they've made, etc. etc.
And do you get a lot of chance on the courses at Aberdeen to collaborate across the disciplines? So like games design and production with computer arts and with
Mhm.
computer games technology.
Yeah, especially from like second year onwards. First year is very much like an introduction
Mhm.
to what you
How
do.
to do university pretty much as opposed
Literally,
like
yeah.
game.
In second year, we had a module where it was game design and computer arts, and they just put us in random teams, and we had to make a game. Basically, like we didn't really get like any restrictions. It was just go, be free, learn about game production pipelines and version control, and how to use GitHub, and how to basically work in a team, and how to like work with a producer and like write weekly reports and pitch ideas and things. It was a really fun module.
Mm.
Oh, there's a question in the chat before we come to Lucinda and her ambitions. So Suedjen has asked, does Josie have a compilation list of all their music compositions where we can go to listen, please?
Well, before in third year we have to make our own teams for our own group projects that we do next semester. And for that, when I was doing the dastardly team searching, I had to make my entire portfolio, which was it was a process. A lot of my music got lost when my iPad died, which is RIP the iPad. I'll make more, but I can put that. So, I don't know where I'd put that, but I can put my portfolio in.
Yeah,
And
pop
find
if
it.
you can find it, pop it in the chat, and if not, we'll share it on the Discord
Yeah, I
server
can do
after.
that. I will find that for you. It'll be in one of my messages with somebody. Like
I think
The
it's
iPad
in our
is
DM.
it's in our
critical
DMs.
care
That's where I'm
at the
going.
moment.
It's in critical care.
It's in critical care.
Poor thing.
Oh, the
Okay.
poor thing. All right, where can I put it? Can I just put
So
that in
let me go back
comments?
to where. So Lucinda, how about you? What are your ambitions for the future?
Yeah, so I want to go into like a producer or sort of project management role. In terms of games that I'd like to work on, I'm kind of like Josie, I don't really have like a specific one in mind, but I'd like to work on like a survival game. My brother's a software developer, and one of my oldest friends I've known for like 25 years does like coding and stuff as well. So we've been talking about doing a survival game together at some point, but obviously it's quite a big undertaking, so we'll have to see. But yeah, just something within that realm, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, would you like to start your own studio, all of you?
I don't know. Maybe see how like emotionally equipped I am to like do something like
Oh,
that. 'cause
run
I-
your own business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know Aberdeen does provide support for like students wanting to start their own studios, so it's not like we'd just be like, be free and then like run a business. They do actually.
Good luck.
Yeah, basically. I think it'd be quite cool, but also that's a future me problem. I don't like thinking about that. I feel like
I
I'm,
think
I'm still a baby. Like,
It's a little guy.
yeah.
Knew you were going to say that.
Who said that? Was that who said you're just a little guy?
Me, just a little guy. I am just a little guy. I don't want to think about having a business.
Yeah.
Not
There's
yet.
a huge amount, to be fair, there's a huge amount that goes along with running a business that isn't like what any of us, like I studied psychology at university. I didn't like then think, oh, do you know what I'd like to do at the weekend is like manage the books of my business. Like it wasn't what I wanted to do when I was a grown up, but I actually really like doing it now. Now we are running our own business, so I can recommend it. Yeah, just a little kitten. My cat's just a little guy, even though he's like the fattest cat and the biggest cat you'll meet. He is
Oh,
just a
he's
little
lovely
guy.
though.
Yeah.
He's just a baby. He loves me.
He's just a
He
baby.
he really
just a
likes
little
you.
guy.
Like
I know he
he'll
does.
he'll accept it when you pick him up. It's
Yeah.
quite funny.
I'm just that good.
So here we've talked a little bit there about the university supporting students in general once you go on to like go out into the big grown-up world. Martin asks, does the university do enough to support women in gaming specifically though?
I think the university definitely provides support, and they were really encouraging when it came to making the society. But I think for them, it's still a new field of like. I'm trying to think of the right wording here. Like everyone else, feel free to jump in because yeah, it's still a new field. It's about encouraging the women to get onto the course in the first place is the problem, because a lot like we all had our own unique ways of finding the course sort of thing, and it wasn't like a school teacher be like, oh, did you know? Like, or wasn't for me at least, was for some people, not for me. Like school teacher won't come along and be like, oh, did you know, do you like games? Well, there's courses for you. I was pretty much set in the I'm gonna have to do music or like a science because that there's not something that will fit my niche. So it's very much they support us, but I think there's still more to do in the outreach aspect sort of thing.
And like publicizing that the course is there and that it's got a broad, because there's multiple courses, aren't there? And they've got like really broad ranges of options depending on what part of games design or games production
because
or
computer
games
arts,
technology
the
art you're
gender
interested
split
in.
in computer arts is a wide mix of females, males, non-binary people. It's really good. It's only in
The
things.
programming
Yeah.
courses are
The
really bad.
programming
Like-
courses are not good for a gender split. Neither is the games design course either. It feels like a bit of a fight to be like, no, you are allowed in this space. Is I think the big issue is that a lot of women feel like they're not allowed in the space. If that makes sense.
We've got a follow-up question. Thanks, Nick, for letting me know that Blang's daughter is Nick. Blang's daughter asks, the computer games industry is pretty infamous for heavy grind and unhealthy work-life balance. As women in games, do you think an increase in women in the industry might help to change that culture?
I hope so.
While you think about that,
Yeah.
I'd like to say that while I might hope so, I don't think it's up to women to change industries to make them better. I think like everyone in that industry who has caring responsibilities, who has family, who just wants a good work-life balance and good mental health, like it's up to all of them to change the industry. Not to say, well, let's wait till our male-heavy industry, whatever it is, gets women into it, and then we can think about like HR rules and work-life balance. It's like, no, if you want work-life balance, like you should ask for it yourself, for yourself, and not wait for a woman to come along and do it for you.
I definitely think you can go.
I know, I was just gonna say, I think part of the issue is a lot of studios still promoting like crunch time as well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they promote this kind of work culture, but then they have like nothing to compensate their workers with. Because a lot of studios are more like, just get the game out now so it can qualify for awards, or if it could release at the same time as another game. But I understand it's like a business thing, but just take your time.
Like
please.
sometimes you need to take the time.
Yeah, like there's a reason Silk Song's not out yet.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
And
a
the thing, it's the sort of thing that if you take the time and you put the work and the effort in, it shows. Like it will create some. Like the big example that comes to mind is when Metaphor ReFantasio, the new Atlas game, came out, and that had been in production for. Like it was first announced years and years and years back, and then when it finally came out, the artistry behind it and the design was absolutely gorgeous because they had refined and refined and refined and refined on top of it. And yes, it's Atlas, so they'll probably make a re-release version with an extra woman in it and go, oh, look, it's our re-release version. But even that, though it's a bit scummy because it does make you buy the game again, it does allow for further, like, you can reiterate on it and they can learn what they got and they can change based on what they've learned, sort of thing. So
Yeah, you know, in that game you can put on the clothes from a previous game and be assaulted
yes,
with
I'm
acid
aware of this.
jazz.
Because I was Andy was telling me about how he was playing it, and you were having a great time watching until he
I
put on the
was.
Persona 5 outfits, and
You're
then you got
such a
assaulted
jazz
by acid
hater.
jazz.
I am acid jazz in particular.
She just
Okay,
doesn't
that's
like the
fine.
Persona. She doesn't like the Persona 5 music. Like
I
that's.
Yeah, I don't like acid jazz in general. It makes me slightly anxious. I don't know
I
why.
think there'll definitely be tracks from that game that you would like.
But
There must be
I
at
was
least one or two.
I was
No
yeah,
more
there
what
is.
if.
Like I'm a shapeshifter. So I was in a shelter bookshop recently dropping off some books, and there was jazz, and someone actually complained about the music to the lady in the shop while I was there, and I said to her, I wouldn't usually complain about music, but this jazz does make me slightly anxious. And she was like, yeah, this jazz is quite like out there for jazz for a shelter bookshop. It wasn't easy listening jazz. It was anxiety-inducing jazz.
I don't think I've ever had that experience with jazz. I mean, I am
No.
I'm a trained dancer. I did like tap and ballet and things, so I'm used to like jazz music for
like
dance. So
jazz
I don't think
music for dance is fine. It's like jazz music that's like that easy listening stuff that you'd get on like in the 70s, in a period piece from the 70s, and there's like really like yellow and orange kind of furniture decor and maybe like a slight horror theme, and the music isn't predictable like 5, 6, 7, 8. It's just that kind of jazz. Not dance jazz music. Not Fosse. Come on, Abbie. Come on.
just making sure.
Just
I'd be
to be
really
clear.
hurt.
Big Chicago fan. Big
Good.
jazz era fan. Just not
Okay.
acid jazz and unpredictable jazz fan. So this is a bigger question, but I couldn't write it all out. So I was quite interested in your experiences, because Josie comes from a family where gaming was very much a potential for your career, and nobody's really been that surprised when we're like, Josie's studying games design and production. But the video games industry is an interesting industry because it's so massive and it makes so much money, and yet there's still a bit of like snobbery or perceived that games are something childish and maybe not something that you would want to have a professional career in. So what was your experience with your family when you talked about doing a games design, a computer arts course? Did you have that experience, or do you think that's changed from like when I was going to uni?
I think it's changed. Like, my parents are like completely supportive.
Mhm.
I decided I was coming to Aberdeen third year of high school. My computing teacher told me about the course, and I was like, I guess this is what I'm gonna do now. So I told my parents, and they were like, yeah, if that's what you want to do, like in like a supportive way. Because I loved computing, I loved games, I love coloring in. My dad does say I get a degree in coloring in, but in like a nice way. Like, I'm coloring in. It's what I like doing. I like making
Like,
models.
he can diss the coloring in, but again, put him in front of Maya, try get him to model something in 3D, and he'd just be like, he would not be able, like, it may be
Frog
coloring
blinking.
in, but it's
Yeah.
like proper coloring in.
Yeah, no, my parents were really supportive of it. The rest of my family are always like, oh, like, what were you up to? How's your course? Because it's not like, oh, I'm like studying and sitting exams. I'm like, I'm actively making things and learning like
Yeah.
technical skills. So they love it. It's great.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I talk to like colleagues at work or other parents that I meet, and they ask what my children are doing, and I explain it to them, and they're like, "Oh, that's so cool! Like my son or my daughter's really into this," and I'm like, "Well, this is a really good course, and this is a really good uni for it." And everyone's heard of Abertay. It's really interesting. They're like, "Oh, in Dundee, oh yeah, I've heard that's really good." But so many people I talk to, like their kids are desperate to like meet you guys and be like, can I ask them questions about the course they're doing? Can they help me get in?
The idea that you speak about me at all is scary. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
very much.
perceived outside my own mind. Like, other people like know I exist. Ugh.
I'm trying to think what my family thought. It was so long ago now that we applied to uni. I applied
It
to
doesn't.
Aberdeen as a joke to begin with. It was a
Did
big
you?
silly joke me applying to Aberdeen because I'm like, no way in hell am I gonna do a career in games. That's not real. Because I needed something to fill out my UCAS. So I'm like, this will do. I want to be a graphic designer one day. And then lo and behold, I actually read in and I'm like, wait, maybe this is kind of exactly what I want to do. Maybe I should actually look at this now that I've applied for it. And I was like, okay, I'll send in my portfolio and see like what happens. And it was as soon as I submitted my portfolio, I got accepted, and I'm like, this is it. I'm a game designer now. But I've always played games, so it makes sense
Yeah.
for me. But I never thought I could actually have a career in games. So when I was like to my mum, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go and do art for games. She actually thought it was cool as hell because I'm from up north, so nothing's real up there. There's not really much. And they're like, you can do that? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, go do it.
Go do it. Yeah.
And my dad, he's kind of like standoffish about it a bit because he's like, is this really real? But now that I've like been here for a few years now, he's like, okay, this is actually like a real job.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about the industry is so massive, and yet people are still like, yeah, but can you get a job in that industry? In a way that if you're talking about like you're going to do medicine, you're going to do dentistry, you're going to do law, everyone are like, well, I know what job you'll get at the end of it. But and I think it's a big disconnect between the size of the industry that it is and the amount of jobs that there are, and the jobs that people think that there are in it.
Yeah.
How about you, Lucinda?
So I'm really lucky because although my parents were not gamers like at all, I think seeing me and my brother growing up playing games together, like we played a lot of console games, we went to like Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments and stuff, like we were very cool. I think that they saw how we bonded over that, so they just like were immediately bought in. But I'm in my mid-30s, so in terms of them, like what they thought of me going to university to do it, they were kind of just like, yeah, cool, go do it, like whatever. But yeah, they've been really supportive, which is great. So
have you had a previous career before you've come to gaming then? Have you been...
a few.
Yeah, a few.
So I worked as a singer for a little while. I've worked in sales. I've kind of done a little bit of everything here or there, but it's kind of like what Steph said. I never thought that like I could have a career in games. I thought that was for like super intelligent people who are really good at maths, and I'm not good at maths.
To
And then
imply
yeah, I did
I'm
a
actually good at maths. I
like I
can do
think you are for sure.
I can do the math that's needed for treasury, but like past that, it gets a little dicey.
That's still a lot better than me. Still a lot better than me. Don't ask me any like maths questions ever. The panic attack. Yeah, I did a like software development boot camp because my brother does software development, and the only part of that I enjoyed was like the game logic that we did for like one day. And I said to an industry mentor I had, that's what I want to do. And he was like, stop. Like, if you want to do that, you're gonna have to do a degree. And I was like, well, why can't I do a degree? And he was like, oh, okay. And then he kind of guided me to Aberdeen. So yeah, it's kind of like inadvertently made my way there, which was nice.
Brilliant. Oh, someone in the chat, 101 Colonel says maths is my kryptonite.
Yeah.
That's so real.
There's
Yeah.
also a lot of jazz hate in the chat.
Stop the jazz hate. It
I
might
like
just be because
jazz
I'm a
music.
dancer, but like jazz is good.
I've
played
never
the
thought
clarinet,
about
I've
it like
played the
that
jazz band.
before. But like now that you've said it, like Lindsay, I really do feel that as well. Like
Yeah.
the unpredictability of jazz scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
I
I
loved
love
doing
it.
jazz when I was like doing piano and stuff. But then again, it was always much more like dancing jazz. Like
Yeah.
it's not like
It's
the
not like
unpredictable.
freestyle jazz where it is unpredictable.
Yeah, freestyle jazz is what freaks me out.
Ugh.
And the way like everyone claps when someone does a solo, and I'm like, did they just make that up? Did they just like improvise?
I
Like,
could do that. I loved
gives
that.
me-
That was
I
my
know you
favorite.
can.
I loved that
It
sort
gives
of
me
stuff.
the
though.
fear. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
do you like our new cups that Mark designed for us? He just sent me a mug, so
Very cool.
I want a mug. We need more mugs. I mean, we don't. We've got lots.
We
of
don't.
mugs,
we
haven't
we've ran out of space in the cupboard.
I
Oh,
think
okay.
we still need
No
more mugs
for
though.
you.
Yeah,
We've
yeah,
got
we'll-
loads of cupboards. We have
we can
like
get we can get mug tree.
yeah. We had mug trees at home, but then they broke.
Shh. Stop giving away our secrets that we're not a fully functioning adult household. So Smiling Tom asked, everyone hates Mass Effect 3 ending. What would you have been your pitch for it? Or, I added to follow up, is it just a classic case of fans not being pleased with anything?
I have grown up with good old Andy Law telling me how bad the Mass Effect 3 ending is. And I'll be like, oh, why is it bad? And we'd get into a like hour-long discussion about why it's bad and why it's not like it's just not a good ending. And Marauder Shields and the Marauder Shields just like it like anyone says the word shields and it makes me laugh because I just think of Marauder Shields. But my biggest takeaway from all of that is if you're making something which is very character driven, you've got to accept that if you're gonna need to end the series eventually, and if you're ending that series, you really need to listen to what the fans of the said series tell you when they're talking about what they like about the games, what they're anticipating. And obviously you can't just like scroll through forums and be like, right, I'm taking that idea and taking that idea and taking that idea. But you can see what the general feel is and treat your characters with respect is what I'd say is the baseline. Like I'm still trudging my way through getting my Mass Effect playthroughs in, so I don't have a specific this is what I would have done instead. But I do have the treat your characters with respect, and if they are beloved, know that obviously there's always going to be fallout when it comes to an ending. Like you can't please everyone, but if you've pleased nobody, you have done something wrong. Like like at least like if none of the endings correspond well to the themes that you've built up through the game, you have done something wrong. Like, get your narrative designers back in the studio and tell them to try again. That sort of thing. There you go. That's my take on it.
I have not played these games.
Me neither.
But I did get taught about this last year. I took a narrative design class, and my lecturer was like, "This is how you don't write a game." That's all I remember.
It's not even how you don't write a game. It's like how you don't end a game, because the Mass Effect games up until this point are very, very good games.
My only knowledge of Mass Effect is from the Minecraft Xbox 360 mashup pack that they had.
Wonderful mashup pack.
And I played that all the time. I was like, I don't know who any of these people are, but the texture pack was cool, and I liked making like spaceships and stuff. So,
Warhammer says, as a BioWare note, Dragon Age Veilguard nailed it. I've got a Dragon Age Veilguard.
I was having a conversation
with Law behind
I was having a conversation with him about it and how it feels. I feel
like I should do an unboxing.
How it feels like a spiritual sequel to Mass Effect, but Dragon Age.
Really?
Yeah, he was. We were having. It was part of our long 3. Yeah.
He also says Mass Effect 3 was brilliant until the last 15 minutes.
Is it literally just like 15 minutes that changed the whole?
The big bit that gets me is Marauder Shields. A very brief explanation of how I remember being told about it is Marauder Shields is not a character. It's the boss of the game. It's not. It's just your run-of-the-mill Marauder. And it has shields on, and it shoots at you a bunch of times, and you can shoot at it like 2 or 3 times, and it dies, and then that's the end of the game, and that's the boss fight of the game.
So there's like no like conflict or anything.
There is there is conflict. There is conflict to this game, and there's massive conflict. But the final boss battle is a Marauder who has shields on, and the worst part is it can absolutely destroy you. If you're on like hardcore difficulty, it will shoot you once, because Shepard is like limping and dying, and as you do. So they will shoot you once and you will just die, and you're like, oh my god, and you will have to go through the entire sequence again to get to Marauder Shields, who is just your run-of-the-mill average guy who shoots at you a few
Marauder
times.
with shields.
A Marauder with shields. Great, yeah.
101 Colonel says what they need to do is learn from this card game I heard of somewhere called Dark Deeds.
We have that
own
in our
a
living room.
No, you don't. Do you? Have you bought the game Dark Deeds? Everyone
We
else
have
should
bought
too.
the game Dark
We have.
Deeds. You should
Dark
buy the
Deeds.
game Dark Deeds.
Okay, so from one controversial game ending to another controversial subject, Mark McG asks, I'd be interested to hear what conversations are going on around AI in gaming, either as part of your course curricula or within the society. Is it a grim inevitability, a new technology to be embraced and co-opted into new gaming experiences, or a mixture of the two? Thoughts?
I think it's still a very new thing.
No one really
Because-
knows where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
like
yeah.
through the uni, we're not like, I personally hate it as an artist.
Yeah.
We are told we can't use it for any assessment work, which is completely fine. There's some people who encourage it for like concept development, which I can understand because it can help you visualize things. Like I do 3D because I can't draw, but I wouldn't go to an AI image thing and be like, give me a thing. I would go on Pinterest and look for funny pictures, which are now all
Photo bashing,
unfortunately
like-
AI as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's something we're just gonna have to learn to live with. I feel like the damage has been done already, and we're just gonna have to kind of, I don't know.
I
think
feel like
it's-
when people
yeah.
talk about it, it's more like it's the inevitable doom, like we're all going to lose our jobs to robots. But I think if it's realistically going to have to be incorporated in some way, it'll be a tool and not a replacement.
Yeah.
And I think that personally, I dislike it for usage in art. However, in the way the industry is going, it is going to be implemented in one way or another. However, I don't believe that in the long run that will diminish the value of actual, quote unquote, actual artists, if that makes sense. Like, it's not going to take away from people who can be like, right, I have an idea, I'm going to put it on the page. It's not, in the long run, I don't think it will have as much of an impact on the overall hierarchy, is the only way I can say it. Like, I don't think it will have as much as the impact as people think it will. It will change parts of the industry, but there will always be space for, it's like photography. There's always, like, when photography was first invented, people were like, they're going to take all artists' jobs. Art is never going to be needed again. And art continues because art is a fundamental part of the human experience. So art will tick on, and people will be like, create their creations, and people will be like, that's soulless, it's made by AI, and it is, which is why there will always be space for people who make art with soul, I would say.
And it's interesting that we go to, because Mark's asked about AI and gaming, and we've gone to art, and we've gone to the creativity of like AI, rather than like using AI to check your code, or like, and AI is not just in gaming as an industry at the moment, like a topic of conversation. I work in banking in the day, and we like talk about it both for like chatbots that talk to customers, but also things for just like taking notes from meetings for you.
Yeah, some like if
things
using
that are
it,
just like useful as tools to make work like quicker and easier.
I like it's like, as a tool, very useful. I have, like, the amount of times I have missed a semicolon in a piece of code. That's
Every time.
that is what I use AI for. I will be like, hey AI, this code isn't working. What have I missed? And it will say, you have missed a semicolon here, or this, you've not referred to this variable here and here. Something that I, as someone who's not very experienced with code, wouldn't necessarily catch. I still learn it myself and learn how to do the things, but for manual human error, it erases that aspect of it, which I find quite useful.
So for manual repetitive tasks, yes. For spiritual, soulful tasks, no.
I think if we could get AI to do retopology, I would like that, because that if you do character art, is no, I hate it. Sorry. I'd still be like paranoid and check it all over, but I'm like, if there's one thing that AI has to be applied to in like my career path, it's like, just let it do retopology for me. I hate it, please.
I would say with AI, I think that if people are willing to use it ethically, it's a wonderful thing. But I think the concern that everybody has is when it's being used unethically, which currently there's not enough regulations around it and people don't really understand it properly. So, yeah, it's reliant on humans' abilities to be decent human beings, which may not be the most reliable. Sorry, after the recent news that's been happening, my faith in humanity is destroyed. So
Yeah. Mark says, because Mark's in the chat as well, I'm actually a little surprised it's not more part of the courses if it's going to be a reality for the industry going forwards. I thought it would be important for lectures, coursework, etc. to start working around engaging with it in some form.
We have talked about it in classes. Computer arts has like a critical studies class, and one of our weeks was to discuss AI and creative practice. The actual all of the I think it's like the whole uni is like no AI for assessments, but if you do use it, clearly state where you've used it and why. But
in the writing assignments, we are allowed to use it for very small aspects of it. Obviously, we can't go to ChatGPT and say, write this for us, but we can use it for sorting our references, for rewording certain parts. However, if you do, you need to provide a very clear disclaimer saying, this is what I used it for. I used it for this section, this section, this section. However, my work is still my own, sort of thing.
Yeah. So last week, our critical studies class was discussing AI and creative practice. And basically, our task was, as artists, go and use generative AI to create something, and then write about like how it made us feel, basically. And I think out of there's like 66 people on our course or something, and out of all of them, I think there's only one person who was like, yeah, I could see this being used for good. Because it just feels so soulless. Like you lose the fun part of making art, which is the making it. I think.
I feel like there's a lot of fear mongering as well with AI.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
They're like,
it's always
you're not gonna have a job. Yeah. It's so motivating.
Okay, here's another question from the chat. So Kadane asked, in narrative-driven games, is player gender choice important? Giving increased complexity of writing and additional artwork audio, is it okay for a designer to choose a male or female protagonist?
I think it is.
I think it's dependent on the type of narrative you're looking for.
Yeah.
I would say if you're looking for a story where you want the player to feel like they're a part of the story and for it to feel more like a self-insert, then you absolutely have to have a gender choice. And even better if you have like with the growing trend in recent games of actually being able to choose like individual body parts, having pronouns that don't match your genitals, that sort of thing. That is absolutely that's perfect for what you want if you want your player to be able to feel immersed in the game and feel like it's an aspect of them. However, if you want it to be a character and to not like say you have less choice into what the character is and they are their own person and then you occasionally steer them in different directions, then I think it's less important to have a gender. However, it's still important to be mindful of your audience as well.
Yeah.
Because you alienate obviously this is very, very broad of a statement, but I feel like as a woman and looking in the industry, you alienate a lot more women by not having a female option than you do for the vice versa. Because especially I know so many men who will only play women in games, whereas like there is a lot of them. Like you, hence why I say that you tend to alienate more women if you don't have that option.
What I find irritating is like, see in Mass Effect where you could I'll pick that one where you can choose, but Mass Effect has become such a massive like vehicle and product, and now they'll make like a live action Mass Effect potentially or animated series. It would really irritate me if they include Shepard and they decide what like canon shepherd would therefore be. That would
I
piss
have
me off.
only ever seen femshep, so because like Andy plays as female shepherd, I play as female shepherd, everyone I know played as female shepherd, so it would be so, like, just for me personally, it'd be so disorientating seeing any character but the character with the kind of coppery red bob that we all played.
Yeah, we've all
which
made
for
the same one.
Yeah, we all made the same character and sent it to, like, Laurie, Andy, and me. We all made it, like, independently, and we're like, hold on, that looks like my shepherd.
Yeah, but and I wouldn't be opposed at all to a Mass Effect live action or animated series that had a male or
No, not
a
at
male
all.
presenting like main character. That's not the point. The point would be that if they're going to do that, it shouldn't be Shepard. It should be
Yeah.
a new original character that I haven't played for like so many games as my version of Shepard, because I would find that really like
Yeah, I
it
think
would
if you've
really
like become
disconnect me
attached
from
to
it.
someone,
Yeah.
and then you just like be like, oh, this is actually how they are instead of what you're used to. It's
Yeah,
kinda like,
this is our
the
official
point?
version of Shepard. Oh, okay, but
yeah,
I don't like there being an official
I don't like it. Yeah,
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like if you think about The Last of Us, like in a way that's kind of a disgustingly graphic, mushroomy zombie game, but also a really interesting study on fatherhood. Like, I would always want that to be Joel. I would want that to be a dad figure, a
Yeah.
father figure, because that's really important for the story and what happens with Joel and Ellie and what happens, you know, in the second game, which was really controversial, but you can understand why. Like, to me, it would be important that Joel would always be Joel, not
yeah.
Joelina.
Yeah, like it is about at its core, like, it's, yeah, you wouldn't want to change that. That is what it is. Joelina.
Joelina. I'm sure Joelle.
Joel is a
No.
better
Jolene. Oh,
Jolene.
Elaine.
Jolina.
Jolena. So we're almost at the end. So it's 1957. Women's rights have it's not. It's 2024. But it is in time 1957. A quick fire question: who inspires you in the industry or outside of it?
I mean, my very easy answer is my parents, you, and my dad, Andy and Lindsay. Whoop, big whoop.
You're so cute.
I don't know. I don't
It's a really
have
tough
like
question.
I don't really have like a set person. Maybe all the people that I watch like the speed modeling videos at 0.25 speed, like me in first year trying to learn how to 3D model, like they're probably like some of my biggest inspirations because they help me so much.
You sound like you're about to cry.
Really?
So yeah, you sound like you're doing an Oscar speech. You're like Gwyneth Paltrow, Shakespeare in Love, and you're like, oh, thank you so much.
I just want to thank the YouTube videos.
All the speed painters on YouTube, you know, you really helped me figure out how to do stylized models. Thanks.
I think with me, it's not really a person, but more art styles that inspire me, rather than one individual. And Riot fanboy back again. Man, I love Riot Games.
Yeah.
But the way they just do their shading in Valorant and Arcade is amazing. I love
I've been
this
trying to
kind of cell
replicate
shading.
it.
Oh,
Amazing.
absolutely.
I
Like
love
the art boost, like Abby has seen this, the art boost of a sketch I did before watching Arcane versus sketch I did after Arcane was actually hilarious.
I
You can
love
tell
it.
my brain locked in and was like, oh my god, I can make things now. My brain expands.
I can art.
I can art suddenly.
Yeah, I would say like my parents, my partner Murray, like a lot of the people that I'm close to in my life definitely inspire me every day, but maybe cheesy, but also these girls on the committee really inspire me as like a woman in my 30s coming into university, seeing you guys' passion for this and like sincere want to make like safer spaces for women and everything is like super, super inspiring. So now I am actually feeling like I'm gonna cry, so
I feel like
Yeah, no,
this
you guys
is
are
like
awesome.
I've got one last question, and I feel like I put this the wrong way round. We should have had the inspiring cry question at the end, because now it's just like turn-based or action CRPG, but poor smiling Tom like put in this question and it's the last one, so I feel like I have to ask it. And what would you improve in this genre? So yeah, it's a really momentous question: turn-based or action CRPG.
I'm a turn-based hater unless it's D&D, basically.
I'm a turn-based lover, so there's a bit of a clash here.
I just don't like it. I like hitting things and I'm hitting back at the same time. Unless it's D&D, because then I can plan.
I like both.
Yeah, I like the planning time.
Yeah, I like the that's what I really like about turn-based, is that I can go in and I can be like, right, I've got this battle coming up. I need to get like I don't know, Persona, great example. Persona's not super difficult. But say you're going into a battle, like, right, there's this battle. I'm gonna bring these personas in. I'm gonna have these party members in, and then on my first turn, I'm gonna need to do this. And then depending on what they do, I then react to it. So
Turn-based for me as well. I like being able to strategize.
mm-hmm.
I can't unsee emails as turn-based combat now that you've said that to me, Abbie.
It is.
Yeah, emails are turn-based combat.
They really are. They really are like turn-based combat.
Like learning how to like communicate professionally is like, now that we're like putting ourselves out there as like people who want to get into the industry, and it's like, hi.
I love emails for some reason. I don't know why. I think I
can't do it.
I might be insane, but I love the turn-based combat of emails. That might be it. I just like
my last email.
I feel like I put up like a facade when I'm emailing someone. It's like this very professional typing, and then you actually see me, and I'm like not that same person.
Really
called out for that.
Really good point in the chat.
Like they were like, you're like a different person in emails. Like.
I love to like turn-based. So turn-based is brilliant for those who may have difficulties controlling games. That's me, because I panic. And so like when I very first played Baldur's Gate, the idea of like having the space bar and just being able to pause and decide everything I was going to do and set everything up was just amazing. Compared to me playing, I don't know, Alien versus Predator, when I was just like, I can only play the aliens because all they do is like fight and eat and get their health back as they fight, and so being able to like get health back while I do another thing is like vital for me.
When you played Rogue Legacy and you had to turn off like the going around, and you had to turn off what's it called? When you make contact with something and it damages you.
Oh yeah, I had to turn that off because I was so bad at it, and I always run into things.
Yeah, you would just lose your aware, and if like in a turn-based, like that's not an issue at all, sort of thing.
It's not cool to admit, but sometimes my children come to watch me play games because it's funny how I fall off everything.
You do fall off things quite a lot.
I do fall off things a lot. This is why I prefer email to chat. I'm generally a turn-based RPG.
I think that might be it for me.
This is like the most profound thing that's ever happened on Inside the Rookery, is that we've all realised that, thanks to you four, that email and work is just turn-based RPG.
It is.
Like,
it is.
Especially if it's someone that you like, you either don't know or like you're not on the best terms with, and you have to be professional, so you have to like plan your attack basically, and you have to be like,
you are laying that out.
Yeah.
You're like, right, so we've got that. Okay, all right, I know what they're gonna say, so I need to counter that before they even say it. It's like
this is
nice,
revelatory.
like, friendly phrases and everything. Like, I'm not cut out for professional communication. I can't do it. I once almost wrote to a uni lecturer that I was going to pull up to campus instead of meeting her on campus. I was like, I can't send that. I can't do this.
That sounds like you're going to like then perform a hit on her.
No. I was just sitting at my desk and I was like, what is wrong with me?
I'm pretty sure you messaged me and you're like, why?
I did.
Yeah,
why am I doing this?
You told everyone this. You messaged me about this. You messaged the
I couldn't
D&D
believe
chat,
it. That's because I was just sitting there with Outlook open. I was like, there's no way I just wrote that.
Well, on that note, I would like to say thank you so much for coming to join me and chatting for the past hour. It's been really interesting to hear about your courses, to hear about all the work you're doing for the Women in Games Society. I'm a member. I know a few other people who are members who are not who are women in games but are not students at the moment. And you've got how many? You've got a social membership, an industry membership, and a student membership. Is that right? So people can look you up.
Yeah. So if
join.
you're not an Abertay student, you can join. It's called an associate membership because we have to like separate them.
Yeah.
If you go on the Abertay Student Association website, it's got everything. It's got our Discord. Yeah.
Because we do everything by Discord. Because
Yeah, my Discord's in my email signature because it's the easiest way to contact me. It is.
There you go. I will get you the society page for you.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
So get us a link, shove it in the chat, and until the next time, thank you to you four. It's been brilliant fun, amazing. Thank you to our patrons, as always, for keeping our streams live and ad-free. You are all the best. Thanks to our Discord community. They are a friendly bunch if you want to come and join us, and every week you will also be able to ask questions of industry insiders because we always pre-post the question threads there. So until the next time, thank you so much for coming along to Inside the Rookery. See you soon.